Strange Black Beats.
road is dusty, the sky's burning wide. A whisper of peace where shadows collide. Feel the weight of the cross, it's love magnified. Step by step on holy ground, every footprint heaven bound. If you love Yahshua, walk in his footsteps, through the valleys, through the storm's breath. If you love Yahshua, walk in his light, follow his truth, it'll make your soul bright. It'll faith builds a bridge. Hope on the mountain, faith on the ridge. Carry your heart like he carried his. Step by step on holy ground, every footprint heaven bound. If you love Yahshua, walk in his footsteps, through the valleys, through the storm's breath. If you love Yahshua, walk in his light, follow his truth, it'll make your soul bright. It'll make your soul bright. If you love Yahshua, walk in his footsteps, through the valleys, through the storm's breath. If you love Yahshua, walk in his light, follow his truth, it'll make your soul bright. It'll make your soul bright.
A big salute, family. This your brother K. Judah, giving our praise to the Most High Yah, and faith in Yahshua HaMashiach. To the beloved Israelite family worldwide, I say peace and blessings. Big salute to my beloved CUC family. Big salute to my brother Sham, the Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Technology family, and all my beloved brothers and sisters in the chat. As you see the title, Yahshua said, "Give me drink." The woman of Samaria said, "Why you ask drink of me?" Who was she? Who was this woman? The advice that I would give people in this awakening is that whatever you do, before you speak, before you be so hasty to speak, make sure you have examined all the facts before you start declaring who people are within the scriptures. Because somebody's going to always go the extra mile to get understanding. Some people read the scriptures and they don't go the extra mile, so they'll say things that they believe to be true. But once you examine all scriptures, I say all scriptures, understand history, understand timelines, understand what's going on in that time in the chapter of each book that we read. Once you understand these things, then you can start declaring things instead of getting on the microphone and declaring things that you don't understand. I'm about to show y'all today exactly what I'm talking about. See, a lot of people just want to stay in the KJV, but we have more history outside of the KJV, and it all comes together when you go the extra mile. I'm going to go that extra mile. If I want true understanding, I cannot be lazy. I have to go the extra mile. And I'm willing to go that extra mile. And I'm about to show you today, when you go extra mile, you find out some things that you thought was true, but it's not. Not according to what I'm saying, but according to what I'm going to show you according to Yah and Yahshua about going the extra mile. Watch this. Make sure you have your Bible. Make sure you follow along with your brother, because I'm going to open up my computer today, the screen, and we're going to read these scriptures together. See, I like reading from my Bible. I like filling the pages. But today, just so you can see it yourself, I'm going to open up the screen so we can read this together. Let's get it. The first thing I'm going to declare boldly by the power of the Most High Yah and Yahshua, boldly. The woman at the well was not an Israelite, but I hear a lot of people teaching that she was of the northern kingdom. The woman at the well was not an Israelite, and I'm going to prove it. And I'm going to also show that Ruth, the Moabite, who everybody keeps saying was a Moabite, I would implore you to go to the history before you go to Ruth. You can't just jump into the middle of a book instead of understanding the history. When they came out of Egypt, then you go to Ruth. Everybody go straight to Ruth. Oh, look, Ruth is in Christ's genealogy. Then I tell you, some of us going to go the extra mile. You can't go to Ruth until you understand the history of Israel. You can't go to Ruth until you understand Judges. Then you go to Ruth because she was born in the time of the Judges. But I'm not here to argue with nobody. I'm just here to declare the facts. The first thing I want to show you that the woman at the well was not an Israelite. I'm going to the book of Josephus. Let me open up my window. We're going to Josephus, the antiquity of the Jews. And let's see who these people were they placed in the land when the northern kingdom got kicked out. I'm going to Josephus, book 9, chapter 14. Let's get it. Let me make my screen bigger. There we go. Let me bring it in a little more. Okay, there we go. This is the book of Josephus, book 9, and chapter 14. Okay, here we go right here. I'm going to go to Josephus, then I'm going to go to 2 Kings, so I can get it out of the mouth of 2 witnesses. So you can see, this is the book of Josephus. Then I'm going to go to 2 Kings 17. But let's see what Josephus said. This is the time of the northern kingdom. The Most High about to dispel them and kick them out the land. Now, before I read this, I want you to see this name right here. Boy, this mouth moving fast. Hold up. You see this name right here? It says the Cutheans. Remember this name, the Cutheans. It's going to make all sense when I get to the KJV. Remember these people right here. They are called the Cutheans. Remember this name. Now let's go to chapter 14, verse 1. It say, when Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, had it told him that Hoshea, the king of Israel, has sent privately so to the king of Egypt, designed his assistance against him, he was very angry and made an expedition against Samaria in the 7th year of the reign of Hoshea. But when he was not admitted by the king, he besieged Samaria 3 years, and he took it by force in the 9th year of the reign of Hoshea, and in the 7th year of Hezekiah, king of Jerusalem, and quite demolished the government of the Israelites, and transplanted all the people into Media and Persia, and among whom he took King Hoshea alive. Remember what you just heard. Y'all remember when I said, remember the word the Cutheans? And you just heard what he just said. He took them where? Media, Persia, and among whom he took King Hoshea alive. And when he had removed these people out of their land, he transplanted other nations of the Cutha. These are the Cutheans. These are Persians. Now he removed the northern kingdom, and now he placing other people in their land. He transplanted other nations out of Cutha, a place so called, for there it is, a river of that name in Persia, into Samaria. You heard that? He took these people and placed them where? In Samaria and into the country of the Israelites. So the 10 tribes of the Israelites were removed out of Judea 947 years after their forefathers were come out of the land of Egypt. Now you just heard it from Josephus that in the time of Hoshea the king, they was dispelled out of their land. And they brought people from Media and Persia, from Cutha, and placed them in Samaria into the country of the Israelites. The northern kingdom was no more. He gave them a bill of divorce and dispelled them out of his sight in the reign of Hoshea. So now I can get out of here because now I'm going to the KJV. And let me read the same thing in the KJV. Okay, here we go. Let me get out of here. And now we're going to get this from the King James Bible. Remember that name, Cutha. Okay, here we go. This is 2 Kings chapter 17. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. Remember what we just read in Josephus. Let's get this out of the mouth of 2 or 3. We let it be established. This is 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 1. It says, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, began Hoshea, the son of Eli, to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of our Elohim, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and brought no present to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. Didn't we just read that in Josephus? We just read that in the book of Josephus. We just read that in the book of Josephus. Verse 6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Hala and in Harbor by the river of Gozan and in the city of the Medes. We just read that, family. Which was a river by Persia. And I just read it in the KJV. And I just read it in Josephus. So now that we got it out of the mouth of 2, now I got to drop down. Let's see what happened. Let me drop down. Here it go, family. Verse 23. Until the Elohim removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said about all his servants, the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria until this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and from Cutha and from Ava and from Hamath and from Sarhavian and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So now the northern kingdom is gone, And the king of Assyria brought other people within the land of Israel and placed them in the land instead of the northern kingdom. So KJ, what are you saying? Let me drop down a little bit. I'm about to show you right now. Verse 25. Listen to this. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling that they feared not the Elohim. Therefore the Elohim sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the Elohim of the land. Therefore hath he sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the Elohim of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, carry thither one of the priests, whom ye bought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach them the manner of the Elohim of the land. Now you have a priest who was carried away captive. Now you bring him back to the land. He's going to teach these people how to occupy this land as if the Israelites was there. So picture this in your mind. Somebody is teaching you repeatedly how to dwell in a land that is not yours. Not only is you going to take on the customs of the people, he's going to teach you how to keep the Shabbat. He's going to teach you the culture of the Israelites, that you don't die in this land, because we got kicked out the land for disrespecting this land. So soon as they came in the land, he started slaying them because they don't know the manner of the Elohim of Israel. But this priest is teaching them. Now remember, children are being born in this land. What you think they teaching their children? That the land of Samaria belongs to them as generations pass on. Now you're going to start believing you're a Samaritan. Now you're going to start believing you one of the tribes, that Jacob is your father, because generations are being passed down. Knowledge is being passed down. The way of the land is being passed down to a people that don't belong there. Go ask the Jewish people. Aren't they teaching their children the same thing? That they've been occupying this land for thousands of years, lying to their children? But the children is not going to not believe what mama and daddy's saying. They're going to believe it, even though it's a lie. But you can't tell the children it's a lie because it's being passed down. Lies are being passed down from generation to generation. So he had to go get a priest to teach them the manner of the land. Now let me go down a little bit more, because he go the home run that I'm trying to get to. Let me go back up. Okay, let me go down, because I'm about to show y'all way before you get to the New Testament, the word Samaritan is already used way before you get there. Now remember, as these people are in the land of the northern kingdoms, occupying a land, y'all remember that the northern kingdom got kicked out because they had a lot of high places, meaning idol worship, places for idol worship. So when these people came in the land, what you think they did with their gods? They set their gods up in all the high places that the northern kingdom had set up. So they just brought their gods right in. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here you go right here. Check this out. Check this out. Verse 28. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Elohim. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made. Who are the Samaritans right here? This the original Samaritans, because they the ones made the high places before they put these people in the land. So way before you get to the New Testament, Samaritan is already used for the northern kingdom. Let me read that one more time. Verse 29. Howbeit every nation made gods of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places, which the Samaritans has made. And every nation in their city wherein they dwell. They dwell. So do you see that the original Samaritans is the original northern kingdom? So what is going on with this woman at the well? But before we go to the woman at the well, I want to show y'all what the Samaritans used to do when the Jews was going through adversity and when they was doing good. Let me say that again. When the Jews was going through adversity, the Samaritans would say, no, them not our people. We don't belong to them. But when they was doing good, then the Samaritans would say, yeah, them our people. Because they knew they really wasn't their people. They was cosplaying as the northern kingdom. And these people occupied this land all the way into the time of the Messiah. The northern kingdom never got their land back, fam. That's why he's telling you, I'm going to gather you from Hamat, Assyria, Cush, Egypt. These are all the places that the northern kingdom was scattered at. And he's saying that I'm going to gather you from the places where I scatter you, whether that's Judah, because we still got a lot of Judah in Africa too. And all around the area of the lands of Shem and in Africa, and scattered to the four corners of the earth. Not everybody was taken on the boat, family. Some people still of Judah dwelling on the continent of Africa, and even in Assyria, even in Cush, even in Egypt, even in South Africa, even in Put, which is Libya. Our people everywhere. So now let me show you this one. So let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. Because now I got to show y'all this. Now I got to show y'all this one. Okay. This is Josephus again, right? I'm going to book 11, chapter 8. So let me open up my window. I want y'all to see what the people whose cars playing us, what they used to do. Let me show y'all. See, all people have to do is take your time. Don't be so hasty to say the woman at the well was an Israelite. No. Slow down. Don't be so hasty. Because you can be saying something that you don't understand or you haven't did much study. That's why I tell people it take years before you start teaching. You have to cross your I's and dot your T's. You can't just be out here saying anything. Here we go, family. This is book 11. Let's go down to chapter 8. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 6. And I want to show you what the Samaritans used to do. Okay, here we go. Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Chapter 8, right here. Now I'm going to verse 6. And I want y'all to hear this for yourself. Right here. Here we go. Okay, let me make it big so everybody can see it. Here we go right here. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, there we go. Let me go back down to verse 6. Okay. Chapter 8, verse 6. Okay, here we go. Okay, family, check this out. This is the book of Josephus, book 11, chapter 8, verse 6. Verse 6, it says, so when Alexander had thus settled matters at Jerusalem, he led his army into the neighboring cities. And when all the inhabitants to whom he came received him with great kindness, the Samaritans, who had then Shechem for their metropolis, and a city situated at Mount Gerizim, and inhabited by the apostates of the Israelite nation, seeing that Alexander had so greatly honored the Jews, determined to profess themselves Jews. Hold up, what time out? What? Let me read that again. Alexander was showing the Jews kindness. He had so greatly honored them, determined to profess themselves Jews now. For such is the disposition of the Samaritans. Oh, I get it. When the Jews are doing good, now they the people kinfolk to the Jews. But this is the dispensation of the Samaritans. So when the Jews are doing bad, them not our people, Alexander. When the Jews are doing good, hey, them our people. Let me read that again for the people in the back, man. Seeing that Alexander, I'm right here. Seeing that Alexander has so greatly honored the Jews, determined to profess themselves Jews. For such is the disposition of the Samaritans, as we have already elsewhere declared, that when the Jews are in adversity, they deny that they are kin to them. And then they confess the truth. What y'all think he mean they confess the truth? They let them know actually where they come from. That we are really not kin to the Jews. No, we are not the real people of Samaria. We are cosplaying. But we've been here so long, we can say we kinfolk to the Jews. But when they doing bad, man, we let the king know. Nah, hey, man, hey, we was placed in this land. We don't really come from this land. It say, for such is the disposition of the Samaritans, as we have already elsewhere declared, that when the Jews are in adversity, they deny that they are kin to them. And then they confess the truth. But when they perceive that some good fortune have befallen them, they immediately pretend to have communion with them, saying that they belong to them, and derive their genealogy from the posterity of Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh. Do y'all not hear this? KJ not making this up. I'm just reading. KJ just reading. Y'all heard it for yourself just now. That they trying to declare their posterity from Joseph, Ephraim, and Manasseh. That's when the Jews are doing good. But when the Jews are doing bad, they tell the truth of where they come from. Say that again, KJ. When the Jews are doing bad, then they tell the truth where they come from. They let the king know, hey, them ain't our kinfolk. Oh, they got some good fortune befalling them. Hey, that's our kinfolk. So now we can go to the woman at the well, because now you got better understanding that they was placed in the land instead of the northern kingdom. And they was in that land learning the ways of the land and how to fear the Elohim of Israel, all the way into the time that Rome took over in the time of Yahshua HaMashiach. So we're not going to skip over anything when it comes to scriptures. When you have people saying she was an Israelite. No, she wasn't. Let's go to the woman at the well, man. Let's get it. I'm going to John chapter 4, verse 1. John chapter 4, verse 1. This is the woman at the well. Now, y'all see what I had to do? I had to go get the history first of what happened instead of just jumping straight to the woman at the well. That's the same thing. That's the same thing people do with root. They don't go understand the history way before you get the root. They go straight to root. So what they do, so they can mix their seed, they'll say that root was a Moabite, and because a root got with Boaz and she's in Christ's genealogy, that means that we can mingle with other people. Because Ruth is in the genealogy of Christ. Man, Christ had a pure blood genealogy. Go read Matthew 1. Everybody in that genealogy come from Judah. Everybody. The whole genealogy was kept intact all the way into the time of the Messiah. The other genealogy come from Adam and talk about Yahshua, meaning from Adam all the way to get to the Messiah. In Matthew genealogy, it starts from Abraham because Abraham was given a promise that in your seed shall all nations be blessed. So that genealogy is according to the promise. The other genealogy is from Adam. That's the direct genealogy, not the one in Matthew. That's the promise. Knowledge. That's why it goes from Abraham and it goes start talking about everybody who come through Judah. The pedigree of Yahshua was a pure blood pedigree. Don't let nobody tell you any difference. Just like they lie and say the harlot that they delivered when they went to go take down Jericho, they say that that woman is the same harlot in the genealogy of Yahshua. You have been woefully misinformed. Why I didn't call her a harlot, but Paul said, just like the harlot Rahab, but when we get to the genealogy of the Messiah, you mean to tell me they forgot to let us know that was the same harlot Rahab? Knock it off. This man, we dealing with knowledge. A lot of us can't be deceived. It don't matter how good you talk. You better come with these scriptures. That ain't no Rahab the harlot in the genealogy of the Messiah. They set them outside the camp. That's what the books say. And who did she marry? Yeah, you ain't got no scriptures and no documentation to say she married any Israelite man and they had a baby who is in the genealogy of the Messiah. Y'all just say anything. Because you want to get your rocks off with other women. So you lie on genealogy of the Messiah and put women into his genealogy that you ain't did no research on. Let's get it, man. The woman at the well, John chapter 4 and verse 1. When therefore the Elohim knew how, therefore when Yahshua, I say Yahshua, when therefore Yahshua knew how the Pharisees had heard that Yahshua made baptism more disciples than John, though Yahshua himself baptized not, but his disciples. He left Judea and departed again into Galilee. And he must needs go through Samaria. Then coming he to the city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Jacob's well was there. Yahshua, therefore, being weary of his journey, sat thus on the well. And it was about the 6th hour. There coming a woman of Samaria. Time out. Listen, I told you we're going to deal with it all. I'm going to even deal with root, just a little bit of root. It said a woman of Samaria. This can be a citizen. Anytime the Lord say the daughters of Moab, we know he's talking about the inhabitants. Or sometimes it may say a woman of Moab or a woman of this land. It can either be a person that's an inhabitant of that land, or they could be a citizen of that land. Because a lot of times our father was called after the land in which they dwelt. So right here it says, there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahshua said unto her, give me to drink. For his disciple was going away unto the city to buy meat. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Why? Y'all kinfolks. Why the Jews did not have no dealings with the Samaritans? And why in Matthew chapter 10, verse 5, he said, go not into the way of the Gentiles or any city of the Samaritans. I thought these was Israelites. He told us to go to the lost sheep, but then he turned around and tell us don't go to the Samaritans. But y'all telling me that this woman is an Israelite, but he said don't go to the Samaritans. Which one is it? Make your mind up. This woman is telling Yahshua, how is it you being a Jew gonna ask me to give you something to drink? Your people don't got no dealings with us. Why they don't got no dealings with them? Because they know these the people that was placed in the land. But that does not mean that Yahshua, he never told her, you cannot obtain the water that I have, which should spring into everlasting life. He's talking to the woman. He never told her you cannot obtain this water. But I'm telling y'all, this is not an Israelite woman. This is a woman who was placed in the land, and her people from generation and many generations, she was born in that land and brought up in the ways of that land. So she's calling Jacob her father. She said Jacob gave us this well because that what was passed down to her. But remember, the northern kingdom was taken to Assyria. Who is this woman? She's not northern kingdom. They gone. Let me keep going, man. So verse 9, she said, the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Yahshua tell her, Yahshua answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of Elohim, and who it is that said to thee, give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman said unto him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. And from whence then hast thou this living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob? She think Jacob is her father, which gave us this well. He didn't give it to you. He gave it to the people that was kicked out the land, the real Samaritans, not you. Verse 12, are you greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof, himself and his children, and his cattle? Yahshua answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh this water shall thirst again. Now here go the part that everybody got to pay attention to. Verse 18. Now y'all remember she was, dealing with different men. Yahshua tell her, verse 18, for thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband, and that thou saidest thou truly. The woman said unto him, sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worship in this mountain. Now remember, When you read Josephus, they had their worship in Mount Gerizim, but the Israelites had their worship where the true temple was. Listen to what I'm saying. This why they was getting into it, because the Samaritans was telling people, no, Mount Gerizim is where you need to come to worship. The Jews say, no, we worship over here, because he placed his name in Judah and Jerusalem, in Zion. So she's telling Christ, hold on, our fathers worship in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem. You see what she's saying? You say in Jerusalem, but our fathers worship in this mountain. Now, partner, all our fathers had to go up to Zion, Jerusalem. But remember, they was Jeroboam set up idol worship from Dan even to Bethel. Remember what the Bible said in 2 Kings, that these people brought their gods in the high places in the houses that the Samaritans set up. So all they had to do is move in and set up idol worship, because this is why the northern kingdom got kicked out the land, because of idol worship and breaking the commandments. So she's telling Christ in verse 20, our fathers worship in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Yahshua tell his woman, Yahshua said unto her, woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye should neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship you know not what. We know what we worship. Hold up, time out. Why you made a separation of this woman? Because if this was an Israelite woman, you wouldn't have made that separation. You say you don't know what you worship, but we do. What you mean we do? I thought she was an Israelite. She shall also know what she worshiped, but she didn't. He did. What did he tell her? You don't know what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Hold up, time out. You mean to tell me everybody kicking against the Israelites, and the only way they're going to know Elohim is salvation is of the Jews? They got to come to the people whom he gave the oracles to. You got to come to the people whom he gave a covenant to, the law, the teaching of these things, the promises, the adoption. Yeah. She don't know what she worship, y'all. For salvation is of the Jews, family. But Christ told her, we know what we worship. But you don't. You don't know what you worship. But we do. She wasn't an Israelite, family. Now, some people may say, man, why are you pointing this out? Because all truth matters. You need to understand your history. You need to understand what's going on. You need to understand you still have people cosplaying you today. And they have children being brought up in a land that is not theirs. So what you think they're going to teach their church? What is the world saying right now? That the Jewish people been in that land for thousands of years. But even documentation from Hitler and them, who made a deal with these people, hey, you got to get up out of here. You got to get up out of here. Hey, we'll create a Palestinian state for you, but you got to go. They didn't want them in Germany. So they made a deal with them. So they went to Palestine. And that's how you got your people today, through a mandate. I ain't know you need a mandate to go home. If that's your land, that's your land. But what I'm trying to understand is you need a mandate, but God say he was going to deliver the Israelite and bring them back home. How y'all get home so fast? You don't supposed to be at home right now. How are you at home? And I thought when you go home, you're supposed to have peace. Why you ain't got no peace? You got people trying to kill you and you killing them. You ain't got no peace on the earth. I thought you're supposed to turn your plowshares into pruning hooks. And men are supposed to study war no more when the Israelites are gathered and when Yahshua is back on the earth. Where's y'all Messiah? So now you understand that the same thing that the Jewish people is doing today is the same thing that the Samaritans who was placed in the land was doing back in ancient time, which is cosplaying as Israel. Now remember, I said that when it said a woman of Samaria, that can be an inhabitant of Samaria or a citizen of Samaria. She was a citizen of Samaria. She was not a natural born inhabitant. Well, you might say that because she was born in the land, but she was not by blood, by genealogy, and by lineage. She did not belong to any of the tribes of Israel. So now, since I didn't prove that with the woman at the well, he even told you in Matthew chapter 10, verse 5, go not into the way of the Gentiles and do not enter any city of the Samaritans. You don't say that when you just told him to go to the lost sheep. Then you bagged it up and say, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The Jews wasn't called the house of Israel. Who was called the house of Israel? He just told them to go to the lost sheep, because who did he give a bill of divorce to? The northern kingdom. So y'all got to bring them back. Don't go to the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Why they couldn't go to the Samaritans, family? That's their brothers and sisters. That's their kinfolk. They should have been able to go there, right? But he told them, don't go there. I wonder why. Let me get out of here. All right. Now I'm about to deal with root, just a little bit of root. Now, I want to ask a question. And please, family, we all family here. You know, it's okay if you disagree with me. How many people believe that Ruth was a Moabite by blood? How many people in the chat believe that Ruth was a Moabite by blood? How many people believe that Ruth was a Moabite by blood, meaning that Ruth was a natural born Moabite who married some Israelite men? They died. She got with one of the kings of Israel, Boaz. They had a baby, and they saying that Christ come through this genealogy of this Moabite woman who God allowed into our genealogy. My question is, how many people believe she was a Moabite by blood? And it's okay if, some people don't want to. Okay, the brother J.T. Parker says she lived in the land of Moab, but not a Moabite. We about to see right now. So we're going to see if me and JT is on the same page, because I'm agreeing with the brother JT. I agree with what he said right here. His comments say she lived in the land of Moab, but not a Moabite. Okay. Let's see if the Bible is correct, whether she was a Moabite by blood or a woman of Moab, meaning a citizen of Moab, dwelling in the land. Because we got to find out how she even get in that land, right? So I can't just go to Ruth. I got to go back to understand the history of Israel before I even get to the book of Ruth. I have to understand the history of Israel before I even get to the book of Ruth. So this is what I'm going to show y'all first. Let me get out of here right quick. Let me close out this window. And I'm about to show y'all something. The first thing you need to understand is when they came out of Egypt, they had some battles. And the first battle they had was with I think it was the Amalekites. They came out against them first. And the Most High was very angry with the Amalekites, because when Israel came out of Egypt, they smote some of the elderly of our people. And the Most High didn't like that. But then after that, something happened, and I'm about to show you. Let me put this up on the screen because I want to read it together, which I'm going to Numbers 21. Hold up. Let me go to Numbers 21. Let me make sure this is it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get straight to the point, okay? I'm going to get straight to the point. Okay, let me see. Let's see where I want to start from. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start at verse 21. So, and I want to get straight to the point. Now, Israel had some battles. And I'm about to show y'all these battles. So we're going to start at verse 21. It say, and Israel sent messengers unto Sychar, king of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past our borders. And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his borders. But Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness. And he came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. Watch this, y'all. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land. Hold up, time out. What you mean possessed his land? From Arnan unto Jabbok, even unto the children of Ammon. For the border of the children of Ammon was strong. And Israel took all these cities. And Israel dwelt in all these cities of the Amorites in Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites. What happened, KJ? Who had fought against the former king of Moab and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnan. So stop. I got to get out of here because I got to go get a map to show you what happened. So let me get out of here real quick and let's look at these maps. Here y'all go right here. Check this out. Now we just read that Sihon, he took the land, right? So this was this what the land used to look like. It was all Moabite territory, right? These are called the plains of Moab, and below the Arnan River was their land. All this was their land. But at the top is what we would like to call the countryside, you know, where all the vegetation, fertile, you know, greenery, trees, grass, all that. Bottom of the Arnan River was their actual land. But all this belonged to Moab that you see, right? But remember, the Bible just said that Sihon took it from Moab, and then it started to look like this. Look, after he took it, look what just happened. It belonged to Sihon now. You see? First, it belonged to Moab. He fought against Moab, and he took the plains of Moab from the Moabites. So now it belongs to Sihon, king of the Amorites. But then we asked to pass through his highway. He said no. He came and fought against Israel. So when he came and fought against us, what happened, KJ? It turned to this. Now it's Israelite territory. Because we never took the land from Moab, we took it from Sihon, who took it from Moab. Knowledge. So how is Ruth the Moabite? We're going to keep going, though. Now, this territory do not belong to Moab no more. It do not belong to the Amorites no more. Now, Moses and them fought against Sihon and took his land. And look what you see now on the screen. Now, it's Israelite territory. It is Israelite territory. Okay? So now this is what we're dealing with, Israelite territory, right? So if this is Israelite territory, KJ, you have to show them what happened in the time of the judges. I think I can do that. I think I could get another witness to prove that Israel lived in this land for over 300 years. So how y'all gonna say Ruth is a Moabite when Israel lived in this land for 300 years and it went from looking like this right here to looking like this? Because Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben had they land east of the Jordan River. I'm talking knowledge. They didn't cross over and go west of the Jordan River with the rest of their brethren. They asked Moses, can we have our land east of the Jordan River? We don't want to cross over with our brethren. We want our land on this side, Moses. And Moses said, should your brothers go fight and you stay here? Moses say, I give you a charge, I mean a specific task of duty. If you go fight with your brethren, and once every man is occupying their land, I will let you cross back over the Jordan and you can have all this right here, what you see on the screen. And they went and fought with their brethren, and Moses allowed them to go back, and this what you see. Now look in the green part at the bottom. Y'all remember, this is where Reuben dwelling at, where it said Israelite territory. Look. Y'all remember this? So all the Israelite territory that you see was given to the tribe of Reuben. So that's why it looked like this. The tribe of Reuben. Now look below the Arnon River. Something happened. Because if you're going to say that Ruth was a Moabite by blood, how did she come from down there to up there? And this is Israelite territory. Make it make sense. KJ, can you prove that? Let me get out of here real quick. We'll come back. Because I got some other stuff I want to prove. We'll come back. Let's get out of here real quick. Let me remove this. Now I got to go back to the scriptures. So I got to go back to the scriptures. So let me open up the screen again. And now we're going back to Numbers. I'm going back to Numbers, family. Because I'm about to show you what it says in the book of Numbers. Now remember, we're at verse 26 now. And let me make the screen big so everybody can see this. Okay, there we go. So everybody can see this. Check this out. Verse 26. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and taken all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon. And y'all just saw the Arnon River, right? And below it was the land of Moab. Verse 27. Wherefore they that speak in Proverbs say, come into Heshbon. Let the city of Sihon be built and prepared. For there's a fire going out of Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. He hath consumed all of Moab and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Woe to thee, Moab, thou art undone, O people of Shemosh. He hath given his sons that escape and his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. There y'all go. Verse 31. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof, and drove out the Amorites that was there. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan. And Og, the king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. And the Lord said to Moses, fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand and all his people and his land. And thou should do to him as thou didst unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. There y'all go. Come on now. And they did the same thing to king of Bashan, which is Og. And that's why you saw it said Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh. Why, KJ? Because Manasseh had the area that was by Bashan. So now this is Israelite territory. It don't belong to Moab. It don't belong to Sihon, king of the Amorites. That land belonged to Israel. So KJ, what happened though? Let me show y'all right now in the book of Judges. Let me get this on the screen. Here you go, family. Judges 11. And I'm about to show y'all what happened. Judges 11. Let me get this off the screen. Let's go to Judges 11. Because now it's about to make sense. They about to cry about this land. But I want you to hear what's about to be said. They're about to do a lot of crying. But I want you to hear what's about to be said. And they gave me the book of Exodus. Hold up, man. Y'all tripping. I said Judges. I don't know what y'all doing, boy. I said the book of Judges. Y'all tripping. Let me go to the book of Judges, man. Y'all tripping, bro. Let me make this bigger. I got to make this bigger so we can see this together. Y'all bear with me. About to see this together. Judges chapter 11, verse 26. All right, here we go right here. And go to verse 1. Okay, we're going to Judges chapter 11, verse 1. Watch this, family. This is going to seal the deal right here. It say, now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of Valor, and he was the son of an harlot. And Gilead begot Jephthah. Watch this. Now he was the judge. You know, the Israelites wanted to treat him bad, because his mama was a harlot. And then when they got in trouble, they wanted him to be their judge. Watch this though. Watch what Ammon about to tell Jephthah. Let me go right down here. Here you go, y'all. Listen to what the children of Ammon about to say to Jephthah. Verse 11. Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Elohim in Mizpah. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, what hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land? Watch what they about to say. And the king of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah, because Israel took away my land when they came up out of Egypt, from Arnan even unto Jabbok and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably. And Jephthah sent messengers again unto the king of the children of Ammon, and said unto them, thus said Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon. But when Israel came up from Egypt, and walked through the wilderness unto the Red Sea, and came to Kadesh, then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, let me pass, I pray thee, through thy land. But the king of Edom would not hearken thereto. And in like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent. Israel abide in Kadesh. Watch this, y'all. Verse 18. Then they went along through the wilderness and can pass the land of Edom and the land of Moab, and came by the east side of the land of Moab. Hold on, came by what? The east side of the land of Moab, and pitched on the other side of Arnan. Which is the other side of Arnan? Which is the other side of Arnan, family? The plains of Moab, where they fought Amorite King Sychar. And pitched on the other side of Arnan. but came not within the borders of Moab. What is you saying, KJ? They didn't come to the bottom of the border of Moab. They was above the border of Moab, dwelling in the plains of his territory, because Sihon took it from him and we took it from Sihon. We never took it from Moab. So Ammonite king right here is crying about the land, but Jephthah is telling him, we didn't take nothing from you. Verse 19, and Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast. But Sihon gathered all his people together and pitched in Jahaz and fought against Israel. And the Lord Elohim of Israel delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel, and they smote them. So Israel possessed all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that country. What is the country? The plains of Moab. How long did y'all live there? Jump down to verse 26. How long did y'all live in this land, Jephthah? How long did y'all occupy this land, Jephthah? Verse 26. While Israel dwelt in Heshbon and her own towns, and in area, her towns, and in all the cities that belong, and in all the cities that be along by the coast of Arnon, 300 years. Why therefore did you not recover them within that time? So they was in this land for over 300 years, and y'all gonna say Ruth is a Moabite? You're going to skip over all this history and all the maps that I just showed you that Sihon took it from Moab, and it became Amorite territory in the plains of Moab. And then Israelite fought Sihon. Now it became Israelite territory in the plains of Moab. And Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh asked Moses, can we have our land east of the Jordan River? And Moses told them yes. And they dwelt in this land from that time, even to the time of the judges, when Ruth was born in the time of the judges. And this woman, who y'all saying is a Moabite, how did she come from below the Arnon River to dwell in the plains of Moab with Israelites, when Moses and them killed everything in the plains of Moab? Knowledge. They killed everything above the Arnon River. Nobody survived. But you're going to tell me this woman came from below the Arnon River to come up here with Israelites, where she was not an Israelite and she was dwelling with them. That's what y'all telling me? Stop. Knock it off. Ruth was an Israelite, family. She wasn't no Moabite by blood. Because the area where Ruth was living at, which was the plains of Moab, was given to the tribe of Reuben. Now, let me dispel another lie. That when she said, your people, my people, your God, my God. When was she born, y'all? In the time of the judges, right? What is judges called in the Bible? They are called gods. Let me show you what I mean. Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. Let me get out of here. And let me open up my screen again and show you. First, let's go to Ruth. Let's go to Ruth real quick. Let's go to the book of Ruth. And let's deal with this real quick. Okay, this is the book of Ruth. And I'm going to read verse 4. Now remember, there was a famine in the land of Judah and Jerusalem. So Naomi, her husband, and her sons, they came to what? The plains of Moab, where Israelites was dwelling at. This is when they met Ruth. Ruth chapter 1, verse 4. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. Oh, KJ, boy, see, See, KJ? It say the women of Moab, brother. That mean these were Moabite women, brother. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Opha, and the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. Who dwelled there? Who dwelled here about 10 years? Talk to me. Remember, there was a famine in Jerusalem. So it just said they took them wives. Who took them wives? Naomi, 2 sons. Took Ruth and Opha. And they dwelt there about 10 years with their wives. But KJ, you got to make it make sense. So let me get out of here. And let me go back and open my screen up again. Here we go. This is the KJV translate Strong's H4125 in the following manner. A Moabite equal from the father. That's about a natural born Moabite and citizen of Moab. So it could be a person that's a Moabite by blood. It could be a citizen of Moab. It could be an inhabitant of the land of Moab. Okay. Ruth was a citizen of Moab because it was their land, but the land really belonged to the Moabites. But they took it from Sychar. They didn't take it from Moab. Or she could be an inhabitant of the land, meaning she inhabited that land because it was given to her ancestors. But remember, if God said, I would not give you of the land of Moab, why did he allow them to take the plains of Moab? Because it's not their actual land, man. It was their land, but you know what I mean? Like below the Arnon River was their actual land. Above the Arnon River was like the countryside of their land. So the Most High allowed them to occupy the country part, but not their actual land below the Arnon River. Because he told them, I would not give you of the land of Moab. But you notice that it's called the plains of Moab, not the land of Moab. It's just like if somebody said, man, I'm finna go to the country. That's the countryside. So you can be a citizen or an inhabitant. So Ruth was an inhabitant. Some can say a citizen because, you know, well, you really can't say no citizen because the land was given to Reuben. And we know that the priests had to have their land in every one of the tribes of Israel. And I have a map that got green dots on it. And it's all Levitical priest land that they occupy within the 12 tribes of Israel. And I will show y'all that one day. I got green dots on these maps that I have. And it's all Levitical priest land. And guess what? It was on the east side of the Jordan River in the land of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh. So how you gonna say Ruth was a Moabite? And Moses died in the plains of Moab because it was Israelite territory. You see how the Lord allowed Moses to die in a place where the Israelites was occupying? Moses died in Deuteronomy 34 in the plains of Moab on Mount Nebo. Mount Nebo was given to Reuben. Let me show some right quick. And then I'm gonna show you what when Ruth was born in the time of the judges, when she said, your God, my God, she wasn't talking about no idols. That's what they want y'all to believe. Judges mean gods with an S, meaning rulers. Rulers is judges, which also is gods. So when she say, your God, your judge, my judge, your people, my people. Why? Because Ruth didn't know the people west of the Jordan River. She only knew them east of the Jordan River, which was Gad, Manasseh, and Reuben. She didn't know the other people on the other side. Y'all think we all know each other because we come from the 12 tribes of Israel? We don't all know each other. And if we all was in our land, we wouldn't all know each other unless we cross paths and start chopping it up. Just because we all family don't mean all family gonna know all family. Let me prove this real quick. What they say right there? Mount Nebo. This is what Moses died at. Y'all remember he had to look west of the Jordan River to see all the land of Canaan? Moses died on Mount, he go Heshbon. Remember they was fighting in Heshbon? Mount Nebo, Dibon. They took all his land. He go area. At the bottom, look, below the Arnon River, it say Moab. This they actual land. They didn't take this. They took the plains of Moab. You see it say country of Moab? This the country. This is what they took, family. Ruth wasn't no Moabite, man. I went on a brother panel called Judah Nasty, Judah Nazareth, my bad. And this Bible demolished him, trying to trip me up, thinking he was trying to confuse me. Boy, you confuse yourself. This Bible ripped you to shreds in front of your audience. I told you can't trip a man up who eat and study this book, man. You trip your own self up. You can't trip me up. It ain't gonna work. You're gonna embarrass yourself. And that's what happened with him. He gonna talk about, well, when did Moses die? I said Moses died in Deuteronomy 34 in the plains of Moab. Bruh, how Moses gonna die and they having battles and fighting Sychar, and you gonna ask me, was Moses dead? Y'all see what I'm saying? Just stupid stuff. You know Moses wasn't dead in the book of Numbers chapter 21, bruh. He didn't die to Deuteronomy 34. But you gonna ask me a stupid question like that, though, thinking you tripping me up or you trying to, nah, it don't work, man. You trip your own self up. So when I asked him, how is Israelites dwelling in this territory, but the king of Moab at the bottom was seeing everything Israel was doing to Sihon? That boy got stuck when I asked that. Let me say it again. This is what I asked him. He said that Israelites took the land from Moab. I say, if that's true what you saying, how did the king of Moab want to curse the children of Israel when he saw all they was doing to Sihon if they took his land? Boy, you could have heard a pin drop. Because you sent to Balaam to come curse the children of Israel because you was below the Arnon River watching everything they was doing above the Arnon River in the plains of Moab. So they never took the land below the Arnon River. They took the land above the Arnon River and gave it to Reuben. Make it make sense, man. Come on now. Don't embarrass yourself, man. Don't do it to yourself. Let me show y'all in the book of Exodus what judges mean. So I'm going to Ruth chapter 1, verse 16, and I got one more scripture after this. Let me show you that when they say, your God, my God, they want to lie and tell y'all that that's talking about pagan deities. No, it's not, family. I'm about to show you right now. So y'all see this? This is Ruth chapter 1 and verse 16. And this is when Ruth wanted to go with Naomi. Look at what Ruth said. Ruth said, Ruth chapter 1, verse 16. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee or to return from following after thee. For whether thou goest, I will go. And whether thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people should be my people, and thy God, my God. Okay, Judah, you got it wrong, brother. See, she didn't know her people. That's why she said, your people, my people. Okay, Judah, she talking about idols. She said, your God gonna be my God. Because she didn't know Naomi God, right? Watch this, y'all. Oh, my God. Help us, Lord. Help us, Father. Everybody want to be so right, Father. They don't know what they be talking about. But we're going to help them out today. We're going to help you out. Here you go right here, y'all. Now, remember, she said, your God, my God, right? Here y'all go right here. Strong's number 430. Let me bring it in real close so y'all can see it. Strong's number 430. Elohim, right? Plural. Gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural, thus, especially when of the supreme God, occasionally applied by way of difference to magistrates, sometimes as superlative angels, exceeding gods, great judges, mighty. What does it say at the bottom? Elohim can mean rulers and judges, divine ones, angels and gods. Gods. Rulers and judges. Gods. KJ, prove it in the Bible. Let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus real quick, KJ. And this will be last. Let's go to Exodus real quick. I'm going to Exodus 22 and verse 28. This will be my last scripture. I'm going to Exodus. Hold up. Exodus. Here you go. Exodus 22, verse 28. What do this say, beloved Israelite family? Thou should not revile the gods, nor curse the rulers of thy people. Say it again, KJ, for the people in the back. Thou should not revile the gods, nor curse the rulers of thy people. When was Ruth born? In the time of the judges. What is judges called? The gods are the rulers of your people. The gods, rulers, judges. So when Ruth said, your God, my God, your judge, my judge, and your people, my people. Why? Because Ruth did not know Naomi's people west of the Jordan River. Because Ruth was dwelling east of the Jordan River. So she didn't know them people. So she told Naomi, I'm going with you west of the Jordan River, and your people are going to be my people. And where you large, I'm going large. And I'm going to embrace your people. They're going to be my people now. She wasn't talking like she wasn't a part of the Israelite nation while y'all sitting up here lying. If I go to Baltimore with my brother Sham, his people don't know me. His people not going off the gate say, hey, that's my little brother right there. Hey, you Sham people, we your people. They got to get to know me, man. You got to check me out. Check my character out. I'm a stranger to them. So Ruth was a stranger to Naomi's people. But remember, there was a famine in Zion, which is Judah and Jerusalem. So why would Ruth go to a Moabite territory and not an Israelite territory? Make it make sense, man. That's all we saying. Just make it make sense. So I just wanted to come up here and show y'all that the woman at the well, she wasn't an Israelite. And Ruth was an Israelite. You think the Most High gonna give a book named after a heathen? Show me one book named after a heathen. See, this is what I don't understand. 1 minute y'all telling us that everybody in the Bible is an Israelite, written by Israelites for Israelites, but then y'all say Ruth is a Moabite. So the Most High gave a book, chapter and verse after a heathen. Now y'all going around saying Obadiah was an Edomite, but he was a prophet. But then you can't find nowhere where the Most High used strangers as prophets, strangers as disciples, strangers as apostles. Come on, knock it off, man. The book either an Israelite book or it ain't. Y'all said that Rahab the harlot is in Christ's genealogy. That's a lie. Y'all said that Ruth is a Moabite in Christ's genealogy. That's a lie. Everybody I talk to, they bring up to me, man, Ruth was a Moabite. First thing I asked them, how do you know that? They go straight to root. I say, I say, boy, how you gonna just go straight to root without going to get the history of what happened before they even occupied the land? That's called cherry picking, bro. How you gonna go straight in the middle of a book? You don't know what happened when they came out of Egypt. You don't know the battles that they fought. You don't know how they even got this land, and you going straight to root. It don't work like that. You got to go get the history. You got to, family. Ruth was not a Moabite. The woman at the well was not a Israelite. So we can't have y'all telling these lies so you can mix up Christ's genealogy with outside of women that cause you to think you can mix with women by lying, talking about, well, Moabite woman is in Christ's genealogy, so we can mix with any woman because the child's still going to be an Israelite, which is a lie. But these are the lies being told. Do anybody have any questions? That's it for KJ. I'm done. Do anybody have any questions? They teaching that too now. They're making everybody a heathen, brother. Before you know it, everybody gonna be a heathen. Now they saying Job was an Edomite. But Job lived right around the time of the patriarchs. Because in order to understand Job, you have to go understand the lineage of Abraham's brother. Then you'll understand who Job is. But everybody want to go run straight to book and chapter and verse without going and get understanding of genealogy. And who are these people? Who was his friends? Where they come from? Did y'all know that the land in which Job was living at was already called the name of that land way before Moab got it? It was already called the land of, I think it's Uz, way before Edom got in the land. Oh, Teman. It was already called the land of Teman when Job was dwelling there, way before Moab occupied the land. Job was already dwelling there. The Most High say, have you considered my servant Job a righteous man and upright? And y'all gonna say he's an Edomite? I thought y'all told me there's no profane person that's Edom. For one morsel of bread, he sold it birthright. But now you gonna make him Job? Y'all say that Job is an Edomite, Obadiah is an Edomite, Ruth is a Moabite, Rahab the harlot. Man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, bro. This is crazy. Do anybody got any questions before I go, man? We deal with the whole book, man. We don't cherry pick scriptures. We get the full understanding. We're not going to be sitting up here just jumping in the middle of books, just try to prove a point. And it don't work like that, man. It don't work like that. If y'all want to get the full understanding of who y'all are, about y'all culture, about the heritage and the history of Israel, read every book that they took out. Read the Apocrypha. Read Josephus. Get you some Dead Sea Scrolls. Get the 54 complete books of the Apocrypha. Read the Apocalypse of Abraham. Read the Apocalypse of Isaiah. Read the Apocalypse of Paul. Read all these things. Read about the 12 patriarchs. Read about the testament of each Israelite. Read these things, family. Some also say, already, Jace, all praise to the Most High Yah and faith in Yahshua. Yaquaba said, Some also say we are a multitude of tribes taken from all over Africa trying to refute the Bible. Oh my God, here we go. Telling you, man. See, I'll study and read that I don't want to be deceived. I don't want to not be on my game. I don't want to not be on my pivot. So if you try to come and think you're gonna twist me up and down, you gonna embarrass your own self. I always tell people, man, when you sit up and talking about you can do this and do that, you better know this book. You better know what you're talking about. Because all they're trying to manipulate people and twisting people around to where you try to get them to trip up in their words, it's not going to work on me. And it's not going to work on a lot of brothers and sisters. And why would you try to trip somebody's words up instead of just dealing with the book? A lot of y'all make bold statements. But then when somebody talk to y'all, then now you want to kick them off the panel because you feel like you're getting embarrassed in front of your audience instead of just taking the understanding and adding it to your archives, adding it to your arsenal. So now I can help you better understand how to break down scriptures, how to understand dispensations of time, how to understand the history. Y'all just want to say stuff out of y'all mouth, and then when we ask you to prove it, you get upset. I don't got to prove nothing. Well, you a teacher, you got to prove everything. You shouldn't be teaching then if you ain't got to prove nothing. That's why I don't never tell my brothers and sisters what they should read, what you should not read. I advise you to read everything. And if something don't sound right to you, then don't deal with it. It don't sound right to you. But I always deal with lining things up according to multiple precepts and sources. So if I can get it out the KJV, if I can get it out Josephus, if I can get it out the Apocrypha, I'm going to put them all together and it's going to paint a picture for me. And that's what I'm going to do. I got a good question before I go. Did y'all know that in the book of Genesis, it don't tell you that it was actually 22 things created in the creation within a 6-day span? The angels was created on the first day. But the KJV don't tell you that though, right? It don't tell you that it was actual 22 things created in the 6-day span in creation. So for each day he created something. Some things he may created more things. On some days it was just one thing. How you gonna know that if you don't deal with different books? How you gonna know that it's 22 things in creation, 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet? Come on, knowledge, man. Come on now. The pseudepigrapha, y'all heard of that too. We got all these books, man. It's right here. Shiro. It's right here, Shiro. I bought a book called The Complete 54 Books of the Apocrypha, right? It's a 2022 edition. And guess what it got in here? With the Deuteronocan, 1 and 3 Enoch, the Giants, Jasher, Jubilees, pseudepigrapha, and the Apocalyptic Fathers. And this thing got 54 complete books. It even got the creation story in here. You know, Adam and Eve is in here. Jubilees, you know, Enoch, the Testament of the Patriarchs. Everything is in this 54. Maccabees, Baruch. Like, come on, man. Sirach. Like, we got to read all these books, man. I got books, man, and I read them, family, so I can get the full story. Just like in the book of Genesis, when Sarah told Abraham, get this maid servant and her son away from Isaac. But if you go to the book of Jubilees or the book of Jasher, it tell you why she wanted them to get put away. Because Ishmael stood in front of Isaac or sat in front of Isaac with a bow ready to slay him. KJV don't tell you that. But the other books tell you why she wanted him gone, because he wanted to slay Isaac. You see what I'm saying? Do anybody have any questions before I go? If nobody don't have any questions, family, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. I just wanted to come up here and just shine some light on the fact that we get into all these arguments. Y'all know why? Because people are not studying the Bible. They cherry picking scriptures for what they want the scriptures to say. They want the scriptures to be right in their eyesight instead of dealing with the book according to how Yah and Yahshua put it together. Our opinion don't mean nothing to Yah. It's what we can prove and what we digest, which is truth. Anything outside of that is a lie. Because if it's not documented and written in the Bible or our other books, it's a lie. Because it didn't come out of Yah's mouth. So we dealing with everything, family. And this is why it's easy to put lessons together when you really take your time and understand all of our books. Now, some people going to tell you, man, leave them books alone. Them the white man book. Well, guess what? According to y'all, who translated the Bible, it was King James, got like a lot of scholars, right? So what about all these other different versions of the Bible, like the NIV, the New King James, and all these other different versions? Who translating that? But then you tell us to stay away from our other books. Like, y'all just want to control people's lives, man. Y'all want to control people's lives. Let people read what they want to read instead of you trying to discourage them. They don't need you to discourage them. Let them make their own choices. And you just tell them, if something don't sound right in these books you read, then you just, you just put it down, pray about it. But to tell them not to read their books, you have been woefully misinformed, man. Woefully misinformed, man. All right, family, that's it for me. I see nobody don't have no questions. I was just trying to see, did anybody have any questions? I see not. I'm just looking over y'all comments. All right, family. I love y'all with the pure heart. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Shabbat. Well, I think Shabbat over with. We're in Houston, Texas is over with. Or the flat earth. I did a lesson about the flat earth. We all gonna find out when Yahshua come. Well, we're gonna be able to ask him whatever we want. But I believe in the flat earth. You know what I'm saying? Just like in the book of Job, he talked about this. When he looked up, it looked like a molten-looking glass. And even Hollywood made TV shows about it. They had a TV show called Under the Dome. Hillary Clinton talking about we're gonna crack that glass ceiling. The Simpsons, showing the flat earth. They know the truth, man. Even the United Nations symbol is a flat earth. See what I'm saying? Like, they know what the earth look like, man. They know what it look like. You feel me? So I did a lesson about the flat earth. It's really not a big deal to me. It's just that, when people ask me questions about it, I just go grab the scriptures to prove that, the Most High is talking about. And when the Most High say circle, he's not talking about a basketball. He's talking about like that spirit looking thing, like how the rainbow look. That's why when you look at a rainbow, what do it look like? That's it right there. All right, family. I enjoy the rest of y'all day. Our brother K. Judah say big salute, many blessings. Love y'all with the pure heart. Salute, family.
Sand beneath my feet, no map in hand. Stars above, they guide this wandering band. Thirsty winds howl loud, but we stand strong. Yeah. Manna falls like mercy from the skies. A pillar of fire keeps the shadows in disguise. Oh yeah. Yahshua will protect Israel in the wilderness. Through the trials, through the test, He will lead us to rest. The mountains rise, they try to block our way. Rivers rush like giants in our day, but His voice breaks through the roaring tide. Cloud by day, He shields us from the heat. A mighty shepherd guiding weary feet. Oh yeah. Yahshua will protect Israel in the wilderness. Through the trials, through the tests, He will lead us to rest. The desert blooms where His promise lies, a chosen land under endless skies. Mountains sing and the riverside. Israel stands, never goodbye. Apple of Yah, shining so bright, and Yahshua's gaze, eternal light. Through every storm, through every cry, Israel lives, the reason why. The olive tree bends, but it won't break. Each leaf a prayer, each root awake. Hearts are bound, their spirits rise. Under the watch of Yah's kind eye. Through the valleys, through the fire, He holds them close. Apple of Yah, shining so bright, in Yahshua's gaze, eternal light. Through every storm, through every cry, Israel lives, the reason walls may fall, but love remains. Through fire, through flood, through ancient chains. Every dawn, His mercy flies, carried on wings. The holy ties. The holy ties. The holy ties.
I want to leave you with these lyrics that I wrote. And I pray that this bless your soul, Israel.
If you love Yahshua, walk in his footsteps. He created all things by the spirit of his breath. He showed us the narrow path that leads to life. He hath showed us how to worship the Father, the Spirit of all life.
In the words of my beloved sister August Dreams, thank y'all for coming to the Lion's Den with the CUC family. Big salute to my brother Sham, the Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Technology, and all my beloved brothers and sisters in the chat. Let's get it. And your brother K. Judah want to say Shalom to the mighty nation of Israel, and giving all praise to the Most High Yahweh and faith in Yahshua HaMashiach, the King. Salute, family.